Have you ever questioned whether it's safe or even necessary to clean your ears? It's a topic that often sparks debate, and surprisingly, it's one that carries risks when not approached properly. Understanding the basics of ear hygiene is essential, especially since improper methods can lead to discomfort, damage, or even hearing loss. That's why it's important to go back to the beginning: how ears work, what to avoid, and when to seek professional help. The human ear has a remarkable self-cleaning mechanism. Tiny hairs within the ear canal, along with naturally occurring earwax, work together to move dust, debris, and foreign particles out of the ear. This wax isn't a nuisance, it's beneficial. It protects the ear canal by keeping it moisturized and healthy. For most people, earwax slowly migrates outward and eventually falls out on its own, meaning no active removal is usually needed. Of course, not everyone has the same experience. Some individuals produce more wax or have ear canal shapes that make natural expulsion less effective. When wax builds up and causes symptoms like hearing loss or discomfort, it's important to handle the situation correctly. The first step should be to consult a healthcare provider. They may recommend using purified mineral oil or over-the-counter hydrogen peroxide-based eardrops. These products are specifically formulated to soften the wax, helping it migrate naturally. If that doesn't resolve the issue, a professional can use safe methods, such as gentle irrigation or specialized instruments, to remove it. It's also worth understanding the nature of the ear canal itself. While not a sterile environment, it is a delicate area due to its proximity to the eardrum. This means that any product used inside the ear should be safe and appropriate for that area. Purified oils and diluted peroxide solutions intended for ear use are best. Products not designed for the ears can pose unnecessary risks. For those not dealing with blockages but simply wanting to keep their ears clean, the safest approach is to clean only the visible, outer part of the ear. A soft, damp cloth with a bit of mild soap is usually sufficient. It's critical to avoid inserting anything into the ear canal. This is where the danger begins. Cotton swabs, or Q-tips, are widely used despite the strong advice against them. Inserting. A cotton swab can push wax deeper into the ear, beyond the reach of the hairs that help move it out. Once wax is lodged beyond this point, the body struggles to expel it naturally, leading to impaction. This is the first major risk, blocking the ear further and worsening the problem. The second, more serious risk is damaging the eardrum. Accidental movements, like bumping an elbow while cleaning, can result in perforation of the tympanic membrane. This can cause immediate pain and potentially lead to hearing loss. These injuries are not uncommon and are completely avoidable by simply not inserting objects into the ear. There's also the risk for children, who may not understand the dangers and are often curious. Many cases involve children placing foreign objects in their ears, everything from beads to bits of food like corn. These incidents often require medical attention and extraction by professionals using delicate tools and magnification. When a person experiences hearing loss or discomfort due to suspected wax buildup and home treatments don't help, the next step is to see a general practitioner or nurse practitioner. They might apply eardrops or attempt a gentle saline flush. If the blockage is severe, the patient may be referred to a specialist who will use precision instruments and a microscope to safely remove the wax. These professionals are trained to handle such situations with minimal discomfort. There are also ear cleaning devices available online, spiral-shaped tools that claim to remove wax more effectively. While some are designed with safety features to limit how far they go into the ear, the potential to push wax further in remains. These tools should be used with caution, if at all. When using eardrops, especially for children, a useful technique is to apply a few drops at night and have the person lie down on the opposite side. This allows the solution to stay in the ear longer, increasing its effectiveness. Even people who know the risks still struggle to resist using cotton swabs because it feels like scratching an itch. But this habit, though tempting, should be broken. the sensation of relief isn't worth the potential damage. Another common question involves the use of earplugs. While ear protection is important, especially in loud environments, earplugs can contribute to increased wax buildup. It's a trade-off. Over-the-ear options, like earmuffs, may be preferable when possible. That said, the best form of protection is the one that the individual will consistently use. So the message is clear. Don't insert cotton swabs or similar objects into your ears. Despite the widespread assumption that they're made for ear cleaning, even the packaging now warns against it. Years of injuries and lawsuits have led to that caution. Maintaining ear health starts with knowing what not to do. Clean only the outer ear with a damp cloth, use eardrops when appropriate, and consult a professional when problems arise. Never underestimate how delicate your ears are, and remember, sometimes doing less is actually doing more for your health. If this information helped you, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing your own ear care tips in the comments. Every shared experience helps someone else make a better choice. Now let's move on to the second part of this video, with more information about the health of your ears and brain. What else can cause them to malfunction? Auditory. Neuroplasticity is the brain's remarkable ability to adapt and rewire itself in response to changes in auditory input. This capacity becomes especially relevant in individuals experiencing hearing loss, sudden changes in sound environments, or those undergoing rehabilitation with hearing aids or cochlear implants. When the brain no longer receives sound from one or both ears, it doesn't remain passive. Instead, it reorganizes its neural pathways, often recruiting adjacent areas to help interpret or compensate for missing information. For example, someone who loses hearing in one ear may begin relying more heavily on visual cues or on spatial recognition derived from subtle sound reflections. Children born with hearing impairments, when exposed to early auditory stimulation, can still develop strong language skills, thanks in large part to the plasticity of the developing brain. But even in adulthood, with consistent stimulation and training, the auditory system can regain function and improve speech comprehension, particularly in noisy environments. However, neuroplasticity isn't always beneficial. In conditions like chronic tinnitus, where the brain detects a lack of external sound input due to auditory damage, it may compensate by generating spontaneous neural activity. This results in the perception of a sound that doesn't actually exist, buzzing, ringing, or hissing, that can be persistent and distressing. It's a clear demonstration of how much the brain shapes the way we hear. The modern environment, particularly urban and industrial settings, presents another significant challenge to auditory and cognitive well-being. Chronic exposure to loud sounds, whether from traffic, construction, public transportation, or loud workplaces, gradually wears down the hair cells inside the cochlea. Unlike many other cells in the body, these auditory hair cells do not regenerate. Once damaged, the resulting hearing loss is permanent. Beyond just hearing loss, long-term exposure to noise pollution has been linked to increased stress levels, elevated blood pressure, sleep disturbances, and even cognitive decline. When the brain is constantly bombarded with meaningless or unpleasant noise, it struggles to filter out irrelevant signals, leading to mental fatigue. This sensory overload interferes with attention span, memory retention, and overall productivity. In occupational settings, workers in industries such as manufacturing, aviation, agriculture, or construction face even higher risks. Although many countries enforce hearing protection regulations, compliance remains inconsistent. Simple preventive measures, such as using over-the-ear protective gear, rotating tasks to reduce exposure time, and conducting regular hearing tests, are often overlooked, resulting in avoidable auditory damage. What's even more concerning is that noise-induced hearing loss often develops gradually and painlessly, making it difficult to detect in its early stages. People may not realize they're compensating for hearing loss until conversations become harder to follow or they experience persistent ringing in their ears. By that time, some level of damage has already occurred. In parallel, certain neurological conditions can significantly impair auditory processing, even when the ears themselves are functioning properly. Central Auditory Processing Disorder, CAPD, for instance, affects the brain's ability to interpret sounds. People with CAPD may hear sounds clearly but struggle to understand speech, especially in noisy environments. This disorder can occur in children and adults and is often misdiagnosed as hearing loss or attention deficit. Other neurological disorders, such as multiple sclerosis, MS, stroke, or even brain tumors, can damage the auditory nerve pathways or disrupt the auditory cortex. In multiple sclerosis, demyelination of nerve fibers slows down signal transmission, resulting in delayed or distorted sound processing. A stroke affecting the temporal lobe, which houses key auditory centers, can cause partial or complete hearing loss on one side of the body. Even degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's have auditory consequences. People with Alzheimer's may struggle with sound localization or interpreting speech tone, which can lead to miscommunication and frustration. Parkinson's disease can impair both the mechanical function of speaking and the processing of speech, making interactions more challenging for patients and caregivers alike. In these cases, hearing aids alone are often insufficient. Multidisciplinary interventions, combining audiology, neurology, speech therapy, and cognitive training, are necessary to help individuals adapt. Understanding that hearing is not just an ear function, but a brain-based experience is crucial for effective treatment. By recognizing these deeper connections between the brain and the auditory system, we begin to appreciate the complexity of hearing. It's not simply about detecting sounds, it's about interpreting them, assigning meaning, reacting emotionally, and communicating clearly. And all of this depends not only on the ears, but on the intricate networks of the brain that support them, hydration and nutrition, fueling your auditory and cognitive health. Proper hydration and a nutrient-dense diet are foundational to the optimal function of nearly every body system, and the auditory and neurological systems are no exception. The inner ear, especially the cochlea and vestibular system, depends on a finely tuned balance of fluids for sound transmission and balance regulation. Dehydration can alter the composition and pressure of these fluids, potentially leading to symptoms such as dizziness, tinnitus, or even temporary hearing impairment, UNT. The nutritional side, certain vitamins and minerals have shown strong associations with hearing preservation. Antioxidants, such as vitamins A, C, and E, help combat oxidative stress in the inner ear, which is a major contributor to age-related and noise-induced hearing loss. Minerals like magnesium and zinc support the maintenance of nerve function and cellular repair, particularly within the delicate structures of the auditory system. Omega-3 fatty acids, found in fish, flax seeds, and walnuts, are crucial for maintaining neuronal membranes and reducing inflammation, which benefits both auditory and cognitive health. Low intake of these essential fats has been correlated with a higher risk of sensorineural hearing loss. Additionally, B vitamins, especially B12 and folate, support myelin sheath integrity, which is vital for rapid and accurate transmission of auditory signals. A diet lacking in these nutrients may not only contribute to hearing deterioration, but also impair cognitive functions such as attention, memory, and mood regulation. Nutritional deficits affect neurotransmitter synthesis, synaptic communication, and brain energy metabolism, all critical elements for processing sound and maintaining alertness in auditory environments. Incorporating a variety of colorful vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and plenty of water throughout the day is one of the simplest and most powerful ways to support long-term ear and brain health. Headphones and hearing. The modern epidemic, headphones have become a staple of modern life, used for music, meetings, phone calls, and podcasts. While they offer convenience and privacy, they also present a major risk to hearing health, especially when used at high volumes or for extended periods. Prolonged exposure to sound levels above 85 decibels, which can easily be reached by typical earbud use, damages the sensitive hair cells in the cochlea. This damage is often cumulative and irreversible. One of the most concerning aspects of headphone use is that many users are unaware of the volume level they're exposing themselves to. Unlike external sound sources, which can be easily monitored or regulated, headphones deliver sound directly into the ear canal, concentrating energy on the auditory structures without any natural barriers. This increases the risk of early-onset hearing loss, particularly in teenagers and young adults who frequently listen at high volumes for hours a day. Noise-canceling headphones may help reduce the need to crank up the volume in noisy environments. However, they don't eliminate the risk if used improperly. It's essential to follow the 60-60 rule. Listen at no more than 60% of the maximum volume for no longer than 60 minutes at a time. Taking regular breaks allows the ears to recover from acoustic stress and helps preserve long-term hearing sensitivity. It's also important to choose over-the-ear headphones instead of in-ear buds when possible. Over-ear models distribute sound more evenly and are less likely to direct intense acoustic energy into the canal. Encouraging safe listening habits, especially among younger populations, is a critical step in preventing the rise of noise-induced hearing loss. The healing power of sound. Nature, music, and emotional well-being. Not all sound is harmful. In fact, certain types of auditory input can have profoundly positive effects on the brain and emotional state. Gentle natural sounds, such as rustling leaves, ocean waves, birdsong, or rainfall, have been shown to lower heart rate, reduce cortisol levels, and enhance parasympathetic nervous system activity, promoting a sense of calm and safety. These soundscapes also support cognitive function. Studies have found that individuals exposed to nature sounds perform better on tasks requiring focus and memory compared to those working in noisy or silent environments. The brain's auditory pathways are deeply interconnected with the limbic system, which governs emotion. Soothing sounds help stabilize mood, decrease anxiety, and may even improve sleep quality. Music, too, plays a powerful therapeutic role. While loud or aggressive music can be stimulating or even stressful, gentle melodic music has been used successfully in pain management, dementia care, and rehabilitation settings. Rhythmic auditory stimulation is even used to improve gait and movement in patients with Parkinson's disease, demonstrating how sound can influence motor control through brain auditory synchronization. Choosing to surround yourself with harmonious, restorative soundscapes can actively contribute to auditory and mental wellness, whether it's soft instrumental music, white noise, or immersive nature recordings. Integrating positive sound environments into your daily life is a simple yet effective form of therapy. Hearing and balance, a delicate dance of orientation. Break. Time. Twos. Hearing is more than just detecting sounds. It plays a pivotal role in how we perceive space, maintain orientation, and move safely through our environment. Deep within the inner ear lies the vestibular system, a complex arrangement of canals and fluid-filled chambers that work in harmony with the auditory system to control balance and spatial awareness. When the vestibular and auditory systems function cohesively, the brain can accurately map out movement, direction, and equilibrium. Disruption in this harmony, whether due to infection, trauma, or age-related degeneration, can result in vertigo, imbalance, or a sensation of the world spinning. Individuals may experience difficulties walking, feel disoriented in crowds, or develop a fear of falling, all of which impact quality of life. Interestingly, certain types of hearing loss are linked with vestibular dysfunction, as the two systems share anatomical structures and blood supply. The brain uses sound cues to help determine our location in space. For instance, subtle differences in the timing and loudness of sounds arriving at each ear allow us to localize sound sources. This spatial hearing helps us navigate traffic, detect nearby activity, and maintain situational awareness. When this ability is compromised, the risk of accidents or social disconnection increases. Supporting this delicate dance between hearing and balance involves regular hearing checkups, vestibular rehabilitation therapy when necessary, and mindful movement practices such as Tai Chi or yoga that enhance body awareness and inner stability. Daily self-care routines for lifelong auditory health. Long-term hearing wellness isn't achieved through a single action. It's the result of consistent daily habits. Establishing a routine that nurtures the ears and supports brain function can protect against both gradual hearing loss and cognitive decline. These self-care practices don't require drastic changes, but they do require intentionality. Start with sound hygiene. Just as we clean our teeth or moisturize our skin, we must protect our ears from harmful environments. Avoid prolonged exposure to loud settings, lower the volume on personal devices, and wear protective gear when needed. Give your ears regular, quiet time during the day. This recovery period allows auditory cells to rest and prevents overstimulation. Nutrition and hydration should be part of the routine. Include hearing-friendly nutrients such as omega-3s, magnesium, and vitamins A, C, and E in your meals. Stay well hydrated to support fluid balance in the inner ear. Mental and emotional health also play critical roles. Chronic stress, anxiety, and sleep deprivation all contribute to sensory fatigue and reduce the brain's ability to process sound. Practices like mindfulness meditation, deep breathing, or even spending time in nature can reset the nervous system and improve auditory clarity. Lastly, don't ignore subtle symptoms. Ringing in the ears, difficulty following conversations, or hypersensitivity to sound may be early signs of deeper issues. Regular checkups with an audiologist ensure that small problems don't evolve into major challenges. The role of hearing in learning and memory. Hearing is a gateway to learning, especially in childhood, but its importance continues throughout life. Sound is one of the primary ways we absorb new information through spoken language, music, environmental cues, and social interactions. When auditory input is compromised, so is the brain's ability to encode, store, and retrieve that information. The hippocampus, a brain structure essential for memory formation, relies on multisensory input to create strong, retrievable memories. Auditory signals such as speech patterns or tonal fluctuations help link meaning to experiences. This is why a song can transport you to a childhood moment, or why spoken instructions often stick better than written ones for auditory learners. Hearing loss in older adults has been associated with accelerated cognitive decline. One reason for this is the increased cognitive load required to compensate for missing sounds. The brain diverts energy away from memory and comprehension just to process distorted auditory signals. This can lead to fatigue, frustration, and eventual withdrawal from conversations and learning environments. Protecting hearing is, in many ways, protecting the brain's learning engine. From classrooms to podcasts to daily conversations, sound remains a vital medium of connection and education, emerging technologies for hearing protection and restoration. The intersection of technology and health is rapidly transforming how we prevent and treat hearing loss. From smart hearing aids to AI-driven diagnostic tools, innovation is opening new doors for auditory wellness. Modern hearing aids are no longer bulky or purely mechanical. Today's models use machine learning to adapt in real time to the user's environment. They can differentiate between background noise and speech, automatically adjusting their settings to optimize clarity. Some even connect via Bluetooth to smartphones, allowing seamless audio streaming and control through mobile apps. Cochlear implants have become increasingly advanced, offering speech recognition and tonal perception even for those with profound hearing loss. Research continues to push boundaries, such as developing optogenetic implants that use light instead of electricity to stimulate auditory nerves with greater precision. On the preventive side, noise dosimeters and smartphone apps help individuals monitor their daily sound exposure. Custom-fitted earplugs, originally used by musicians, are now available to the public and offer protection without sacrificing sound quality. Biotechnology is also exploring hair cell regeneration, a potential breakthrough for reversing sensorineural hearing loss. Experimental treatments involve reactivating genes that stimulate hair cell growth in the inner ear, something once thought impossible. With continued investment in these technologies, the future of hearing care looks promising, offering not only restoration, but enhanced sensory experiences tailored to individual needs. Mental health and the shifting landscape of sound perception. Emotional well-being and auditory perception are deeply interwoven. Changes in mental state can dramatically alter how we hear, what we hear, and how we react to sound. For individuals struggling with anxiety, depression, or PTSD, everyday noises may become overwhelming or even painful. This condition, known as hyperacusis, reflects the brain's increased sensitivity to sound during periods of emotional distress. Conversely, some individuals experience auditory hallucinations, perceiving sounds or voices without any external stimulus. While often associated with severe psychiatric conditions like schizophrenia, such experiences can also emerge under extreme stress, sleep deprivation, or grief. These cases highlight the brain's power to create auditory input purely from internal triggers. Mood disorders can also blunt hearing. Depressed individuals may find it harder to concentrate in conversations or may misinterpret tone and intention, leading to social withdrawal. The auditory system doesn't just detect sound, it interprets emotion, sarcasm, emphasis, and nuance. When mental health is compromised, this interpretive function weakens. Therapeutic approaches that combine audiology and psychology, such as sound therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and mindfulness-based stress reduction, have shown promise in helping individuals manage the emotional side of hearing disorders. Encouraging people to explore how they relate to sound emotionally can be just as important as addressing the mechanical function of the ears. Hearing, connection, and the human experience. Hearing is not just a sensory ability, it's one of the deepest foundations of human connection. Through sound, we form relationships, convey emotions, and experience the world together. A laugh, a whisper, a song shared between friends. These are not just sound waves. They are threads of intimacy and memory that weave our lives. When hearing becomes impaired, these connections often begin to fray. Misunderstood words can lead to frustration, social isolation, or even withdrawal. In couples, one partner's hearing loss may affect communication and emotional closeness. In group settings, those with untreated hearing issues may feel left out or misunderstood, gradually disengaging from the social fabric that once sustained them. But this doesn't have to be the case. With awareness, early intervention, and the right tools, people can maintain meaningful relationships and continue to thrive socially. Communication strategies, such as speaking clearly, reducing background noise, and using facial cues, can make a tremendous difference. More importantly, fostering empathy and patience within families and communities ensures that hearing loss never becomes a barrier to love or understanding. Auditory processing in neurodivergent individuals. For people with neurodivergent conditions, such as autism spectrum disorder, ASD, ADHD, or sensory processing disorder, sound can be experienced in ways that are vastly different from neurotypical individuals. Some may perceive everyday noises as painfully loud or chaotic. Others may be unable to filter out background sounds, becoming overwhelmed in environments that most people navigate easily. Auditory hypersensitivity can lead to avoidance behaviors, anxiety, or difficulty in social settings. For some neurodivergent individuals, verbal instructions may not register clearly, or the timing of auditory processing may be delayed. These differences are not defects, they're variations in how the brain handles sensory input. Understanding these variations is essential for creating inclusive environments. Tools such as noise-canceling headphones, visual communication aids, and modified learning strategies can help neurodivergent individuals thrive. Instead of forcing one way of hearing or interacting, the goal is to honor diversity in sensory experience and support each person's needs with compassion and flexibility. The spiritual resonance of sound has been central to spiritual and meditative practices for thousands of years. From chanting to singing bowls, prayer to humming, the vibration of sound has long been believed to influence consciousness, clarity, and healing. Modern neuroscience is beginning to validate what ancient traditions have known. Sound can shift brain states, lower stress hormones, and enhance focus. Certain frequencies, such as 432 Hz or binaural beats, are thought to promote deep relaxation or cognitive balance. While scientific consensus is still emerging, many people report profound effects from meditative sound practices. These experiences aren't only emotional, they're physiological. The auditory system communicates with the vagus nerve, which regulates heart rate, digestion, and mood. By stimulating this pathway, sound can serve as a bridge between body and spirit. Whether through silence, sacred music, or natural rhythms, intentional use of sound can become a pathway to inner peace, resilience, and even transformation. The future of brain-computer interfaces for hearing. Cutting-edge research is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in auditory science. One of the most promising frontiers is the development of brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, that could bypass damaged auditory structures and transmit sound directly to the brain. These technologies aim to translate audio signals into neural codes that the brain can interpret, essentially restoring hearing in individuals who may not benefit from traditional hearing aids or implants. Some prototypes even explore the integration of AI to interpret speech, tone, or context in real time, helping users navigate complex auditory environments like crowded rooms or multilingual conversations. The potential for such devices goes beyond restoration. It moves toward enhancement. Future iterations could allow for superhuman hearing ranges, real-time translation, or customized soundscapes based on emotional state or task. Though these applications remain in development, the progress is accelerating. What remains essential, even in a high-tech future, is the human element, ensuring that technology enhances connection, dignity, and quality of life. Your hearing is your lifeline. Your ears are not just tools, they are portals to connection, meaning, memory, and presence. They carry laughter, love, danger, and discovery. They are the first to pick up a baby's cry, a distant thunderclap, a favorite melody. They are how we learn, worship, express, and understand. Yet we often take them for granted until something changes. But it doesn't have to get to that point. The knowledge you now carry is power. You've learned how stress, sleep, diet, soundscapes, and even emotion affect your hearing and your brain. You've discovered how to clean your ears properly, how to protect your hearing in noisy environments, and how to support your auditory system through mindfulness, nutrition, and awareness. Now take this knowledge and do something with it. Lower the volume on your devices. Prioritize your rest and emotional well-being. Eat foods that nourish your neurons. Treat your hearing as part of your cognitive health. And talk to others about it. Share what you've learned. Because your hearing isn't just yours, it's how the world meets you, how you show up for others. how you experience the sacred and the ordinary. If this video moved you, taught you something, or made you think differently, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's build a community that protects and celebrates the amazing power of hearing. Your ears are listening. Your brain is adapting. Your story is unfolding. And you are in control of it.